Hello guys, so this is a continuation of the tutorial that we previously I was doing on the dependency injection, Inversify and NX and those kind of things. So overall domain driven design. So this one, it won't be any theory, just coding. So I already prepare everything. I don't want to talk too much, so just let's get to the code. So as you guys can see, okay, so I already prepare a Medium article. I'm gonna publish this one. So I just gonna follow the article that I wrote for you guys. Okay. So let's go into it. Okay. The first one is doing cloning the repository. Okay. I already have the project from the previous lesson. Okay. So I don't need to clone the repository. So let's get started. So the first thing that it is that for this project to work, we need the Inversify. Okay. For using the Inversify, their documentation actually is very solid. Let me show you. The most important thing when it comes to the Inversify is the reflect metadata, those kind of things set up. Okay. And you have to play a little bit also with the TS config. Okay. So what I check is that all, for example, in the setup that I'm giving you guys, okay, experimental metadata, the decorator and the emit decorator, both of them, they are there. However, this thing is missing. It means that in the types, this one is missing. Okay, so but never mind. Let me follow exactly the thing. Okay, so I'm explaining exactly the same thing here. Okay, so I just need to go this one, this one, and go to the tsconfig based just JSON. Okay, if you are unfamiliar with the NX, so tsconfig based JSON is like your tsconfig that you guys have. Okay, so each project they have their own tsconfig. Okay, so for example, you see they have these guys, they have their own tsconfig. You see they have tsconfig JSON, this kind of thing. They have one also that it is shared between among all of them, so it's better because why? For example, if you have some stuff you can share among all your projects. Okay, so this is some of the good things about the NX. Okay. So okay, so let's what we're gonna do is let me I open my previous. So for you guys to be able to visualize it, so now I'm in a core level. I want to do something in a core level. After that, I will work my work around to the service layer and the application layer. Okay. So the first guy that I am generating, it is on the core layer. Okay. So you see it is on the core layer. Okay. So it's an interface. So very simple one. Okay. So this one is a I multiply.ts. Okay. So let's generate this guy. So on the I multiply, we do on the services what we do on the core, sorry, on the core. I come here under the source, under the lib, I create I multiply dot ts. Okay. So after that, I copy the code. So again, it is like the previous one. So you have only two number, A and B. Okay. If you remember, even in the sum one, we didn't have much, only A and B. So they sum, another one, they do additional. So definitely you can do a very nice inheritance for this one, but in this example, I'm not doing it. So, and after that, I would have another, some sort of aggregator or something like that, that combine multiple services together. We call it I calculator. Again, this one is in core. So the reason that it is that this one is a, what do you call it? This one is again is an interface. So it's an abstract kind of guy. Okay, so we build all those things that we just now mentioned. Let me. So again, we did all these two core. So now it's time for us to do the implementation for this one. But before we conclude the core, we have to add them to the index.ts. So let me do that. Okay. So for doing the sorry, I made a mistake. So first of all, before we do that, we need to do the types. Okay. So in Inversify, you have the option to do it or not do it. Okay. So what I would say that you have the option to do it or not to do it is that nowadays you can. Last time I remember, if not mistaken also, but my memory it is not very wrong. You can pass the types I remember it. I was trying. I have to double check again, but I remember originally it cannot. But nowadays you can pass the types or something like that. But in the very early version, I can confirm that you cannot to pass the types. It is not. It was not like C#. Okay, but you have to create the types. So this one is they are symbols. Okay, what does it mean? It means that it is when you are assembling your Inversify. Let me bring the original documentation. Where is the original documentation? Is here. Okay. So for example, when you are later we are going if you come to the place that they are wiring up the container. Okay. So it's something like this. For example, this one is Warrior is like an interface. This one is an implementation. Okay. For example, they connect the implementation of, for example, Ninja to the abstract class of, for example, Warrior or something like that. Okay. So what you can do is that the way they give you a key that, for example, to connect these two, it means that anytime anybody wants Warrior, if you give him a type Warrior key, okay, this key in reality is some sort of a string or something like that. This could be anything, doesn't need to follow their stuff. Can be, you can just pass a string or whatsoever. Okay. So he will give you the ninja. Okay. So if it's a weapon, so for example, he give you for example, he give you katana or whatsoever. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that you have some sort of, for example, it is like a dictionary. After that, for example, so it is a repository that is the dictionary. After that, you give him a key, he give you something. Okay. So this one, yeah, so this one is not something bad, and this one is something interesting. But this is the reason that we are creating the type. This is the reason that I'm building. For example, I say that for isum, every time, for example, the type isum, for example, he passes a string of, for example, isum or something like that. Okay. So later we use this thing. Okay. So okay, let's reiterate. Okay. So what I'm doing is this. Okay, so in this layer, so in the core layer, I'm creating the types, I'm creating the interfaces. There is no implementation. All these things that we create, we want to implement them in the services, and we want to use the types in the application layer. So the types that we created, it won't be used in the services. It would be used in the application layer. Okay, to just do them like the example that they give. It means that we use those types that tell them that, okay, so this is how you map them. Okay, if somebody want the Warrior, after that, for example, so if for example somebody give the type, ask for the type Warrior, okay, so give him a Warrior type, but the thing that he give him is the implementation that it give you is Ninja. Okay, so something like that. Okay, I hope I'm not over confusing this. Okay, but this is a basic example of the thing. Okay, so now I already copied these things into the type.ts. Okay, so the type.ts is here. Okay, so we have to upgrade the index.ts as well. So let's upgrade the index.ts. So for upgrading the index.ts, we have to have all these things. Okay, so all these things is already there. Okay, so we are cool with the core. Okay, it means that we did our very most inner, for example, resource. Okay, we did our very most inner layer. Okay, so now we go one layer up. So the layer up, which is services, it would be dependent onto the core. Okay, so I hope this one is understandable. What when we are dependent to the core, it has a coupling to the core. What does it mean? It means that we talk. Let me do an example. Let me I do the code first. I show you the code first. Okay, so I will do here this. So this one, what is the name of the file? So this one, I'll calculate directly. I go to I'll calculate. Let's do, for example, something like ISOM. Let me I do the, for example, yeah. Let me I do the I do the ISOM. I do the multiply .ts also for it. Easier. So okay, DDD core, this one done. Okay, so we go to the DDD services. Okay, so in the DDD services, what we do is that we create a function called multiply.sum. Okay, multiply.ts. After that, what we do is that first, this is the first part. Okay, so we have to injectable. We have to do the injectable. Injectable is equal, but its value not used. Okay, so this one is. After that, I multiply. So I multiply come from who? Come from core. Okay, Inversify, this one is the first dependency that we installed, right? I installed it, right? Yeah, okay, I installed. So after that, this one is a core. Okay, so it comes from the core. Reflect metadata is for letting him to resolve the dependency. He know that something exists this type because it's a type string type script. Otherwise, if it was for example C sharp, this kind of thing, you never need to do this kind of thing. Okay. After that, you need a decorator. It means that before you do the class, okay, you need to have a decorator. Okay, and then you just can do the multiply. Okay. So for this one, so okay, multiply is implementing I multiply. Okay, so you have to do the multiply and so on and so forth. Okay, so he throw an error because okay, A and B, for example, not use, or for example, new error, those kind of thing. But for example, we just can pass return A and B, between the multiply A and B. So simple, right? So what is the error about this? No, I don't know what is this. Yeah, async. You see, he was, remember, he was forgetting the async thing. Okay, so okay, so it is a promise. So he was not implementing it correctly. So just be careful of your autocorrect and those kind of things as always. So this one is our I multiply. So we are implementing the multiply is implementing the I multiply from who? From the this core, right? So this one he is implementing the I multiply from the core. Okay. So I have isum and I have all calculator. Okay. For isum, so this one. So for the sum previously I developed. Let me see. Do we need to do anything about it? So for the ISOM, as you can see, look like, oh, so ISOM we have to, because in the previous tutorial we were not doing injection, those kind of things, right? But now we are doing the injection. Okay, so we have to change top port. Okay, so now you see, so okay, but what you mean by injectable? It means that this injectable, it means that this guy, he will resolve by the dependency injection. If you don't put it, the thing will crash. So these two thing is very these things is necessary, otherwise the dependency injection cannot to do his job properly. Okay, although for example you don't have any syntax issue or something like that, but he does not do his job properly. Okay, so isum is done, I multiply is done. So now we have to do the aggregator. So let's go just copy his name. So this one, later I will, in the blog post, I will change the order of them. I want the I calculator be the last guy. So let's do the I calculator.clear. And what we do is that first we are doing all these things. So this one is all initialization, isum and I multiply. So these two are the dependencies of the I calculator. Okay, it means that the I calculator is dependent to the I multiply and isum, because he want to, with one he want to do the summation, and another one he want to do the multiplication. And besides that, inject. So inject, I'm using it for injecting the isum and I multiply. So later I will put the constructor, those kind of things you will see very properly. And after that you have the types. So this one is a string, right? So just now I told you that you have a, for example, you have the key. You need to have a dictionary to you need to have a key inside the, for example, container is like a dictionary to find out that, for example, I multiply is connected to who and those kind of things. So this is the key that you are connecting, and the reflect metadata is the previous one. But as you can see again, the types, it comes from the core. After that, for example, isum, it comes from the core. Everything comes from there. Okay, so let's do the constructor. So this one is the most important part. Okay. So in here, what you do is that you will tell him that, okay, I want to have a I multiply, I want to have a isum, and after that the constructor is important. What in the constructor he said that, okay, this multiply, okay, will be injected, okay, during the construction, okay, and the things that this multiply is supposed to be, okay, supposed to be the type of the I multiply that we defined earlier. Okay, so he used a string that he, as a, for example, as some sort of key to detect that, okay, what he's supposed to, dependency injection, you will, okay, this one is the thing that it will tell the dependency injection that what implementation has to inject to the thing, to this guy. Okay, Still, this guy you can construct it manually, but for the dependency injection to work, okay, you have to pass this and injects, for example, these kind of things, so okay. So one thing that it always come up is that, for example, okay, this injecting, so you don't need to do it in here, okay. So even the injecting, you can, for example, do it in this location, okay. But people, they always, especially someone like Ardolis, always say that don't do that, okay. So why? Because the problem is that, like, when you do something like that, so your dependency, the guy, he can put, for example, the private thing up or down or those kind of things. But when he's in the constructor, so you have one single location that you all the dependencies, they are injected. So for example, it become very clear that, for example, what are the dependencies and those kind of things, because the constructor is only initiated in one location, right? But the properties, you can do it up down, this kind of thing, they don't have order, or for example, they don't have a central location. So always being central is very important. But the calculator, now the calculator does not have, we did not implement the things for the calculator. So this calculator have a multiply and he has the sum. So let's we first do the multiply, and after that, you see my code is junky, so we do the sum, and we have no error. Yes, so we see I'm very good at copy pasting, right? Yeah, that's great. So I'm doing a good job when I'm doing copy pasting. So that's perfect. After this guy, so okay, so the service is done. Okay, so if we go to the code, the next thing that we're supposed to do is we do go to the application layer. Okay, so previously I told you application or test. In the previous demo that we did, I did the test. This time I'm gonna do the application. Where we're gonna go do this? Previously I told you that we created a class dd api.app, right? So what we're gonna do in this one is that we go to the before we do that, okay. So before we do that, okay, we did all these things. We have to update the index.ts. This one I forgot, because otherwise we cannot do access to the guy, okay. So it means that we are still not finished with the services, okay. In the source, you have to update the guy. So I multiply this one. Also last time I remember he has an issue or something, he has to be calculate. Actually, this is not a bug. I don't know the compiler why he is screaming. Uh, let me go. The calculator supposed to be something like this. Let's see. So although the compiler is screaming, so I play with it a little bit, so the thing is supposed to be like this. I don't know why compiler. Actually, it is not an issue. See, the thing is with compiler, but I don't know why the thing is screaming. Okay, so later you guys can just make the thing like this. So after that, if this one also, I don't know, in the blog post I wrote it wrongly or something like that. So it's supposed to be calculated, multiply, and sum, and here you have to fix the thing. So if you know what's the problem, please let me know. Also, this thing is in compile. Also, previously I tried, but I don't know just why the compiler is screaming. So, but never mind. So it is something like that. So okay, finally we are finished with the services. Okay, so we go to the DD API, and after that we go to the main.ts. Okay, so we want to upgrade the last part. Okay, so this is the place that the magic happens. You know what is mean that the place the magic happens? It is the place that you are doing what you do the all the wiring. Okay. So okay, so let's see how much of it he already have. Okay, so express we already have. Okay, path we already have. Okay, so we want to do all the things. We want to do all the dependencies from the core. Okay, so what does it mean? All the dependencies from here, I'm already porting it. So what are the dependencies that we have? We had three interfaces: I multiply, I sum, and all calculator. And what was the last one? It was the last one. It was types, right? So that one, it is this one. Okay, so after the next thing that we want to do beside that one, we want to import all the implementation. Okay, so the implementation come from where? The implementation come from the services. Okay, so we did all the interfaces, we did all the services. Okay, so now we are in an application layer. So we are assembling everything in the main. Okay, so let's go do the rest. So we need to do our container. It means that we have to do the Inversify. So we need to get the container, we need to get the metadata, we need to do the container. Okay, it means that we need to initialize the container. If you remember in the previous video that I was discussing, I don't know if you guys really see my stuff or not, but as mentioned before, the dependency injection is like a plate of sushi, right? So you need a container to put your sushi, your resources inside. Okay, so this one is your container. Okay, so the next thing that you do is that now is time for the fun part. So you are wiring it up. Okay, what you in here you say what you are saying is that you are binding calculator to iCalculator every time somebody asks for a type iCalculator. Okay, I am binding calculator to the iCalculator every time somebody asks me iCalculator. Okay, so this one is the first one. Okay, so after that we do the second one. So this one iSum. So okay, every time somebody asks for the iSum, I will pass him the sum. And the type also is iMultiply. The next one is that every time somebody asks for the iMultiply, I will pass him the multiply. Okay. And one more calculator, I forgot. Is it? No, iCalculator, I forgot. Why he give an issue to the iCalculator? DDD service. Sorry, just now I did I was done typo, so I fixed it. Okay, the calculator is supposed to be like that. Okay, so we did all those things, right? So okay, so everything so far so beautiful. So the directory path, those I believe that he already done. He did the directory path, yeah. So all is done. Okay, so API path is already done. So the only part that it is not done is the calculation thing. Okay, so what we want to do is something like this. So the first one, the first route that we are adding is this one. Okay, so every time somebody asking for the sum, okay, so he asking for the sum, what we do is that we use a dependency injection. Okay, after that, for example, with the dependency injection we create an instance of the calculator. Okay, so this is the place that we create the dependency injection. We getting iCalculator, it means that the type that this thing is returned supposed to be iCalculator, because this one is a generic. Okay, so after that, the key that we are passing to him is a type of iCalculator. Okay, so this is the calculator that we are getting. Okay, after that we get the calculator. Okay, what we are resolving when we sending him the result, okay, would be the calculator, sum of the calculator. It means that we're calling the API from the calculator and we have to await it. Okay, quite straightforward, I would say. So do the same thing next with the multiply. Okay, so it means that we have another path. So anytime somebody hit the path iMultiply, okay, we are creating an instance of the iCalculator. Okay, after that, for example, this iCalculator, for example, create, for example, the calculator. So it means that this one is he. Okay, so how it do? Okay, so he will look for this key. This key he will return this type of, for example, object, and that one is this calculator. And after that, when we want to resolve the thing, okay, we just await the calculator multiply 1 and 2. That's all. Okay, so yeah, so the rest I think no need to do anything. Okay, so okay, but okay, so how we test it, how we test this thing? Okay, the way that we test this thing is adding super test. Okay, I'm not gonna go to Postman, those kind of things, and that is not my personality. We write tests, especially in the era of the ChatGPT. I did a lot of tests with ChatGPT, right? So you guys see my live coding sessions with the ChatGPT, right? So we just use a super test, and with the super test, what we're gonna do is that we just create a main spec.ts in the same folder. So okay, so we create here. So normally you give all this entire thing to the guy, but we do one by one. Okay, so first thing that we are importing the super test, and we have to import the main because our app and the server is in the main. Okay, first we are sure that after every run that we run, after all the test is done, okay, we close the server so he doesn't scream. Okay, when the test is finished, say that okay, I couldn't finish it, those kind of things. Okay, so we created describe. Okay, so let's put the describe here. Okay, so this one, imagine you didn't see it. So okay, we just put the describe. So it described what he said. He bundled everything together. Okay, so he said that API endpoint. Okay, so after that, inside the describe, the first thing that we're gonna do is that we test the sum. Okay, so in the sum side, we just request the app API sum. We have to expecting that we receive 200, and after that, the because we are passing the 1 and 2, we are passing 1 and 2, right? We're passing 1 and 2. So we have to get 3. Oh, we are not passing because over there we hard coded the thing. So that's the reason that we are getting the 3. Okay. So in the first one we do the 1 and 2. So in the second one, what we do is that we are passing, we are multiplying, right? So we are hitting the multiply path, and after that we have to 1 and 2 multiply of that, supposed to be 2. Okay, so let's run the test. Hopefully nothing crash. Yeah, by the way, why my app and the server? Yeah. Okay. So again, okay. So sorry guys. Again, the source code that I put in, because I'm very tired. So the thing. So this one I didn't export them. Okay. So this one is the app, and another one the server. Also, I think it was down there. So this one you have to fix it. Okay. So that's the reason that they are screaming. Okay. It is very interesting because in here the thing it is, the code it was correct, but just now when I copy paste the code was not correct. So interesting. I don't know, maybe autocorrect or something. So it becomes like that. But overall, okay, so the code as you see, it works. So this one is a simple example of how you assemble the DDD, those kind of things. So it was, so okay, just to do a recap. So we build the interfaces in the core. After that, we do the implementation in the services, and after that, we assemble the entire thing in the application. So that's all. So nothing else. So okay, so that's all. If you guys have any question, please let me know. So in the next one, I'm thinking to do live coding or something like that. I don't want to prepare something like that. I want to play with it or something. Why I'm not sure. So, but let's see how it is.